Alright, chat, we're live. Welcome to the show. How's it going? Here it's going... I don't even know if I should say fine, because listening to Ursula von der Leyen talk about my economic future is concerning. I can't lie. You know, it's one thing when I hear something happening in Britain and you just point and laugh. Or what the New York mayor is doing, and it's funny if you don't live there. But when Ursula von der Leyen, the woman that I didn't vote for, is basically giving me solutions to the energy problem, well, all of a sudden I'm not doing very fine, because I'm starting to think about the mortgage, the bills, the groceries, you know? And it's like, well, I suppose, like, next elections, I'm going to vote for something else. I'm going to make sure that I do not support Ursula von der Leyen, because we live in a democratic European Union that cares about human values and democracy. Yes. And so, if she doesn't handle the energy problem correctly, I will have her removed. Absolutely. Oh, Dios mío. Right, so, before we begin with that, let's wait a little bit more. So that more of you guys join, right? It's a thing, but I usually start with the actual topic, and then it turns out that people join later, and they ask, like, V, what are you going to talk about? The title, like the title. It's like, oh my goodness, we already talked about it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Tucker Carlson. Oh my goodness, Tucker Carlson, he is amazing. And we're also going to talk about Trump and Jesus, which I don't even know what the fuck was Trump doing, but hold on. So we have Tucker Carlson saying this, and I gotta say, like, the money that Qatar has spent on Tucker Carlson is worth every penny. I mean, If you were to show this to Tucker Carlson back when he was on Fox News, like if you had the time machine and you would show like Tucker's quotes back to him, he would do like that face, you know, like the caveman that tries to understand, like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, are you retarded? You know, like he has like this face that he used to make when he was trying to understand things. Hold on, let me just see if I can find a picture of that face. It was like a very, very primal face, almost very, very animalistic in its nature. Ah, here we go. Right. So, back when Tucker Carlson was on Fox News, he would constantly make this facial expression, you know, and this is the facial expression like a caveman that goes out of a cave and sees someone lighting a fire for the first time. It's like he's trying to understand. Like you can see like his brain is trying to understand the implications. Like it's something like really deep that he's trying to grasp. And Tucker Carlson on Fox News was trying to grasp, like, how stupid is this person? Like, just how is it possible that after thousands of years of evolution, humanity has produced this imbecile? You know, like this was his face constantly on Fox News, like when listening to like women complaining about rapes on campuses, you know, the patriarchy, saying that air conditioners are sexist. Like he would constantly make this face because his brain was on overload. Like it was struggling to understand, out of millions of sperm, how was this guy the fastest? You know, how did this chick manage to swim faster than all the other sperms? Nowadays, he doesn't make this face, right? Like nowadays, his face is like this, right? Like nowadays, he understands everything. Nowadays, he's in tune with the universe. But basically, if you got like Tucker Carlson's takes from today and you sent them back to this Tucker Carlson, he would have made the same face. It'd be like, Tuck, have you become an imbecile? Like, what the fuck happened? So basically he says the people in charge don't want you to know this, okay? So like there's a conspiracy between Jeff Bezos, between Donald Trump, between Hillary Clinton, between Zuckerberg, right? Like all these people are conspiring to make sure that you do not know that Muslims love Jesus, right? So like when there's a terrorist attack in the European Union, when you want to go out and have a drink and you get like into a no-go zone and you have like people with beers telling you that alcohol is bad, when you have like all these things happening, right? The people in charge just don't want you to know that the terrorist that blew himself up, like he also loves Jesus. I see. No, like talk. Wow, holy fucking shit. Yeah, it's absolutely true. Yes, like Muslims love Jesus talk, but like, why don't you elaborate further? Why don't you say that Muslims love Jesus, but they don't believe that he is the Son of God? You know, you as a Christian would consider that this is important. I'm not a Christian, by the way. I'm an atheist, right? Like, I think they're all mysticisms. But if I was a Christian, I would be a little bit upset. It's like, hold on a little bit. Like, why am I trying to bamboozle my audience, right? With half-truths. Because it is a half-truth. Like, people from the audience might literally believe that they can, as a Christian, just go to Mecca and touch the Kaaba and nothing will happen because Muslims love Jesus too. You know? Or if you're a Christian, you can go into a Middle Eastern nation and you can just drink wine and you can eat pork and nothing will happen because, like, Muslims are just like you and I, right? Like, they also have the exact same culture, the exact same traditions. They love Jesus. I see. So like, why were they fighting, Tucker, in the, during the medieval period? Why were the Christians and Muslims at each other if they all love Jesus, right? Like, why wasn't the Pope welcome in Saudi Arabia, Tuck? You know, like why were the patriarchs of Constantinople not welcome into the Ottoman Empire, Tuck? I mean, they love Jesus, right? And then you have, like, Pope Leo. We should perhaps be a little less fearful of Islam. Yeah, I mean, of course. Why shouldn't we? Yes, absolutely. There's nothing to fear. These individuals, like, you gotta wonder, like, who pays them, you know? This is, like, a question. The thing, like, I love with the Pope, especially the modern Pope, when he goes, well, you know, it's our duty to have refugees because, like, Jesus would have refugees. And listen, like, building walls is not what Jesus would have wanted. And I, like, you know what? I completely agree. Like, yes, it is Christian to have refugees. You know what? It's also Christian to basically put a condition. Like, you're a refugee if you're willing to take a baptism. Like, you want to come to Europe, right? You want to come to Europe, like, you got to take a baptism. Like, the church is willing to provide for you. The church is willing to give you charity. But you got to give away your sinful ways. You got to renounce the false religion. You got to embrace the Pope. I mean, I'm not saying that this should be from a politician's or secular point of view, but I'm saying it should be from the Pope's point of view, right? Like, the Pope himself should have at least, like, 5 bishops to every single refugee center, like, struggling in order to have conversions. Like, doesn't that make sense, right? Like, isn't that his business? Isn't that what he does? Like, isn't that the institution of the Catholic Church to save souls? Like, you should have a bishop in every single refugee center lecturing, you know, because apparently, according to Dr. Carlson, Muslims love Jesus too, so, like, they probably wouldn't have anything against it. Oh my goodness, what a world we live in, chat. What a world we fucking live in. To be fair, Muslims do praise Jesus as their Messiah. They just don't believe that the Messiah is God. No, I know. This is why I'm saying it's a half-truth, right? Like, a person that generally doesn't know the full context may unironically believe that, well, I mean, a Muslim can pray into a Christian church. They love Jesus as well. So, like, where is the controversy, you know? Jesus would support refugees. He would. I think, like, Jesus would, right? Like, Jesus would literally let refugees in his home. Like, he's that type of guy. Like, from reading the Bible, I definitely believe that if Jesus had a big house and there was, like, bad things happening outside, he would let people in his house. Yes, I fully believe that. And so, it's not what the Pope is saying heretical, right? But he would insist that, yes, like, if you're coming here, you have to convert. Because, like, this is what popes have done throughout the entire medieval society, right? Even when you had the conquistadors, and even when you had, like, people going into the New World, the Pope made the Spanish, like, read a declaration. It's like, all of you sinful savages, if you convert to Christianity and pledge your allegiance to the Pope, we're not going to burn your cities, right? Like, it's consistent, yes. Anyway, moderate refugees, subrat of a country that has personally helped this. Okay, listen. Jesus could multiply food like communists can. He probably would, yes. But can Jesus create latrines? Because that's another problem, you know? Like, people also shit. That's a logistical issue. When you send people in battle, you know? Like, you raised a 10,000 strong army. That's 10,000 people that shit every day. You think it's not a big deal, but like if you're the quartermaster that's organizing that military campaign, it's a horrific sanitation problem. This is why medieval armies constantly got dysentery. Because they didn't know what to deal with the human excrement. It's like 10,000 people just moving, constantly shitting. It's a problem, right? And so, yes, you can feed people, but like, where are they going to shit? No one cares about this because it's nasty. But the reality is, it's a logistical issue. It's very dangerous. Anyway, right. Having traveled and dealt with certain issue, 10,000 shitters is a big deal. Again, people don't appreciate this, right? This is why medieval armies constantly lose. It's not because they lost the actual battle, but by the time they would get to the battle, a huge percentage, like sometimes even like 25% of their force would be dead because of dysentery and other illnesses that they would get because of lack of sanitation. Chat, I'm telling you the real thing here. I'm actually explaining to you something important. Logistics, chat. Logistics. I don't want outsiders in my town. AJ, when you say things like that, you literally make me want to move there. Like, I don't know. Is it irrational, chat? Like, why is it? See, AJ is half Japanese. And whenever he says something like, you will never integrate here, or I don't want foreigners, that is something that makes me want to go there. I don't know why. I genuinely can't explain. It's irrational. It's irrational. But, like, because he says I can't, now I want to do it. I didn't want to do it before. And probably, like, 30 minutes after I'm, calming down, I don't want to do it again. But, like, just the fact that he says he doesn't want me there, now I want to go there. What type of person am I, chat? Why am I like this? See, like, I always been like this. I literally don't get what's wrong with me. But there is, like, that thing, like, I want to go to AJ's town, and I want to integrate just to spite him. Just to show that I am the type of neighbor that causes no problem, and I live next to him. And I know that he is coping, and I know that he is seething, and this gives me satisfaction. Like, I just sit there doing absolutely nothing, causing no problems, like lowering the volume of my music so I don't bother the neighbors, taking the trash out exactly when I'm supposed to, make sure that my windows are clean, that the house is well painted, that the mall is lawned. But, I know that next door AJ is absolutely coping and seething. Like, he just, like, can't handle the fact that I'm there. And, like, knowing this makes me happy. He is Korean, not Japanese. Look, AJ, listen, you're a racist, I'm a racist. To me, all Asians look the same. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Like, you can say you're Korean. No. Like, I'm looking at you, and if I say you're Japanese, in my mind, you will always be Japanese. I just lived where we had a lot of interaction with Japanese, and we go to Japan for day trips all the time. Yeah, listen, you're Japanese, AJ. Just stop trying to bamboozle me. Stop trying to confuse my racist brain. Christians that believe in 99% of the same things killed each other for centuries in Europe. It's kind of interesting. They actually killed themselves over very pragmatic reasons. It was a religion. The monasteries were very wealthy, right? They had gold and relics and shit, and the kings wanted that. So, like, the kings would come up with various Christian heresies in order to have a reason to seize the Catholic monasteries. That's pretty much it. Like, lovely. That's it. SRC Baker, you too? No, like, you never told me that I'm not allowed to go there. Anyway, right, now that SRC Baker is there, we can actually talk about what the European Union is doing, and we also can talk about what Trump is doing, and what Trump is doing is absolutely baffling. So, he posted this meme, which, to be honest, I will say, I don't think he posted it. I generally do not believe that the US president has the time and the luxury to make memes and post them online. I think he has a team. Every single politician has body doubles, they have teams, they have PR spokespersons, right? Now, I know that he actually claimed that he posted it. I don't give a shit. Politicians lie. Trump is a politician. He flaps his lips. I will treat him exactly the same as a politician. He's better than a leftist politician, but at the end of the day, he's a politician nonetheless. And so when he talks, I understand that he has an entire PR team behind it. I understand he has advisors. I do not believe the mental illness that people have online that, like, Trump is just, one guy waking up in the morning and I'm going to go to war with Iran today. I'm going to kidnap the Venezuela. No, No, like there is an entire organization there, right? Like the White House is a team that's connected to the Republican Party, that are interests. And so, anyway, someone in his party wanted to sabotage him. This is literally what I think happened. Because this is like the most tone-deaf thing that he can post in order to alienate his fanatical Christian base. Look, every single political party has their crazies, okay? The left, they have their crazies with the rape culture, the air conditioners are sexist, the university students, they have their mental ill people there, right? The right-wingers, they have the mysticals, not the Christians, but like the mystical Christians, the ones that they spend time on Discord sharing memes with Crusader Jesus and how they're going to crack down and destroy the degenerates, and they spend time doxing people, right? They have their own sociopaths over there. He's alienating those sociopaths, right? Like, the thing is, like, the left never alienated their sociopaths because they're useful. Like, you actually need them in order to crack down on the opposition and crack down in your own rights. These people are really ass hurt over Trump's meme. And I understand why, right? Like, it doesn't require you to be a Christian in order to understand why this is a problem. What the fuck were they thinking, you know? And so, like, Donald Trump made the statement trying to do a little bit of damage control, as much damage control as there can be done, saying that he didn't think that he was Jesus. He thought that he's a doctor. Like, he thought the meme shows him as a doctor. Like, Trump, can you teach me how to doctor like you do? Like, if I was to be able to do this, right? I wouldn't have picked up YouTube. I think, like, I would have probably been one of the most famous doctors in the world. I would probably be on television. Maybe it's like 2 flashlights, huh? Oh, I know what's happening. Hold on, I finally get it. Right? This is a homosexual, and Trump is giving him electroconversion therapy. This is what's happening here, right? This is what we're looking at. This is an LGBT person, right? SRC maker. Maybe the guy thinks he's trans, and Trump is coming with the electrons. See, he's not Jesus. He's a deconverter, right? Jesus converts, Trump deconverts. He's the Antichrist. Oh my goodness. Ah, there we go. Holy shit. V, did you see Trump order Mickey D's from DoorDash? It was a photo op, of course, but him in the Oval Office with 2 big McDonald's bags standing next to the DoorDash lady was cool. I have not seen that. I will have to look at it. Doctors draped in robes. I mean, a doctor can dress in whatever he wants, you know? Like, if he wants to dress in red robes, he can dress in red robes just to stop him. You know, like, how can Trump differentiate himself from the other doctors? He's better than the other doctors can't deconvert people from gay to straight. Trump can. And so, like, he dresses differently in order to symbolize that. He's using the hetero orbs. Check your DMs. All right, let's look at the Trump DoorDash video. If you demonetize this stream again, SRC maker, I swear, I fucking swear. Anyway, right. So, SRC maker accurately notices that it's a photo op. All right, I thought that it's just like a DoorDash guy appearing to the White House. How does the White House order? I think, like, they have their own restaurant, right? But, like, if they want to order, it's, like, probably at a pickup place, right? Like, you don't actually go into the Oval Office. You can actually see the press here in the window. You can see the people with the cameras. That's kind of cool. I don't have...
McDonald's.
Do DoorDash deliveries actually do this? Do they go McDonald's? I think, like, the DoorDash person is like, please just be there when I knock. Don't make me wait, so I can give you the food and I can go to the next delivery. Or I heard, like, the American way. This is perfect, right? The American way of DoorDash is something we don't have in Romania, where the delivery guy actually looks through your product and steals some of them. And what they do is like they take a picture of your house and then use ChatGPT in order to use AI to make it look as if the delivery was given. You didn't know that, did you? Right? It's the American way.
Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. I have your DoorDash order for you, Mr. President.
That's very nice. Look at this. This doesn't look staged, does it?
They're all your favorites.
That's good. These are good. DoorDash is doing a good job. So, the reason for this is the fact that I heard you picked up an extra $11,000 that you didn't get because the tax bill was so big. The refund was the biggest you've ever had. Is that a correct statement?
It definitely was. Yeah, I saved over $11,000 by not having to claim.
Was that surprising to you?
It was very surprising. Very
A
surprising.
great big beautiful bill. And
To be fair though, like this is a really good photo op. Like this is actually a really smart way to advertise yourself as a politician. Obviously it's staged, right? But look at the difference. Like the Democrats will bring someone from an institution, right? Like they would bring some corporate guy or some actor or some, and the actor would talk about global warming and shit. Meanwhile, like the way Donald Trump advertises himself is like just talking to a regular person. And the thing is like, even though I know it's fake, I have more connection with this chick that is doing the delivery dash. Like I definitely feel like the human element with her far more than I see like the Democrats having a transgender chick with titties in front of the White House, or them having Lady Gaga give a speech about fascismus. And the thing is, like, I understand that there are other people who relate to that, and I generally cannot relate with those people. Like, I cannot imagine what it's like to genuinely, like, see someone at the top of an institution or the HR or something like that talk on camera and feel any type of connection with them. Meanwhile, I do feel a connection with it. Everyone gets DoorDash, right? Everyone actually at some point thinks about, well, the guy that brings me the DoorDash, like, he's probably he's probably doing a very difficult job, right? And he's not being paid a lot. And then you see the president actually care about the DoorDash guy? See, like, the thing is that what the Democrats would have done is they would have gotten a spokesperson from DoorDash or a spokesperson from McDonald's, and they would talk about diversity and inclusivity and how they're increasing minimum wage and blah, 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 blah. And that would not resonate as much as this shit does. Maybe it's because I'm Eastern European. I don't know. Like, maybe this is how, like, I feel this to be a lot better connecting with the public than what leftists have done for the last decade and a half.
that doesn't include overtime in your case. This is only just based on what we did in terms of every other aspect of the tax bill, right?
Yes, sir.
So it was 11,007.
Yes,
Isn't
sir.
that incredible? And that's what it is. The tax cut, it's really, we call it the Great Big Beautiful Bill. We should call it the Great Big Beautiful Tax Cut Bill because it's tremendous amounts of money, and that's overtime.
This is also interesting, right? The left is constantly talking about increasing welfare. That's their angle, increasing welfare. Meanwhile, right-wingers are talking about tax cuts. But the thing is, though, like, I understand, like, maybe it's not entirely true. There may be some propaganda because people are saying, well, yeah, but, like, Trump is cutting from the rich. Listen, if Trump is cutting from the rich, it means prices won't go up because of taxes. Usually when rich people get tax cuts, they don't necessarily lower prices, right? But when the rich gets a tax increase, they raise prices, or even worse, they just leave the country. And this is what's happening in the European Union. You raise taxes for the rich too much, they just leave, and when they leave, they cause unemployment. Like, they don't have a moral obligation to open a business in your country, right? Just like the left says, oh, well, a world with no borders and citizens of the earth. That's fine, They don't have to open a business in Germany economic zone. They can open a business in California economic zone, and they take away all your jobs, and they take away all the taxes that they would have paid if you didn't raise them. And this is like the mental illness that the left has, not understanding economics at all.
It's also on Social Security, as you know,
Yes.
and it's pretty amazing.
Yes, it
And
is.
you're really nice. Would you like to do a little news conference with me and these people? These are not the nicest people. They're not nice like you. You know that, right?
I'll do whatever you ask me to do, sir.
So the no tax on tips is something special, right?
It's very special.
And that's
To be fair though, America is mentally ill when it comes to tips. Like, look, I love America. I gotta say, you know, as a Romanian, I do follow the trend. Most of my countrymen love America irrationally sometimes. But I do need to make the criticism. Like, my cousin actually moved to New York, right? So now I have American relatives. Now I'm a stakeholder. She moved to New York. Apparently, and I was like, just baffled by that. You're forced to pay 25% tips wherever you go. 25% tips. And it's like, well, what happens if you don't pay? Like, well, they come to you and they say, lady, maybe where you are it's different, but like here in New York, you had to pay tips. Apparently, like, she went to a restaurant and she paid 18% tips, right? Because like she was new, she didn't know. And they got like, no, 25. It's like, what the fuck? And it's like, okay, so is it like any restaurant? Like if you go to a fast food, yes. What the fuck is that? It's like, hold on a little bit. You know, like the whole idea of tips is that it was in a world where you would go to like this luxurious restaurant and you'd have like a waiter that goes out of his way in order to make the atmosphere, comes to your dinner table with a violin. We don't do that shit anymore, right? It's 2026. Like restaurants have a lot of people going there. Like they have a lot of customers. Like when I back in the 80s, right? Like restaurants were more empty. Nowadays, restaurants are so full that they even order out. They even have Uber Eats that go there, right? And so the reason this exists is because the people employing the staff at the restaurants do not want to pay them, right? So like the idea is like the restaurant owner pays them 25% less, and then it forces that bill onto the customer, which is retarded enough to pay it. And so, like, the justification is that tips are being taxed, right? And so, like, the person that works there says, like, well, if I don't get tips, I have to pay taxes anyway, so, like, you need to give me tips. And that's how you created this culture. Now that the tax on tips is removed, do you think, like, that culture is going to go away? Hell no. Hell no. Like, it's not going to change. And you can't save America from the tips. Like, the tips are going to remain. But you can't save Europe from the tips. Like, seriously, like, you need to resist this. I remember back in 2000 when the conversation started, and there were like these waitress bitches on social media, like most of them women trying to shame men for not tipping. You need to push back on that, right? And you need to be very aggressive. You need to use a couple of slurs. I'm not even kidding. Like, those people are the fucking enemy. They want to turn your country into New York. Like, you need to be very firm and tell that bitch to shut the fuck up. If you don't like not getting tips, how about you don't work there? You know? You need to be firm on this. You need to be firm. You do not know the horror, right? Imagine going to a McDonald's and there's absolutely no waiters there, and you only have like self-service, and there's a box for tips. It's a mental illness, right? Like the lunatics have started running the asylum. You want to use Uber Eats, you gotta pay tips. You want to get a haircut, you gotta pay tips. That's a 25% increased tax in a world that's taxed enough already, right? Why do you have to pay it? Why can't the employer pay the wage properly to the person working there? Why is it your obligation to give tips? And by the way, like I'm not against tips as a way of monetization, right? Like a donation, like for example a super chat for a streamer or some shit. Like, oh my goodness, I'm now in the pot, right? I don't mind if people give me tips because like my product is free. I don't shame you for not giving me tips. Like, it's fine. If you don't want to give, you don't want to give, right? You go to Shy Lily, you watch her shit. If you don't want to donate, you don't want to donate. You get it for free. Like, that's fine, right? But imagine if I was asking you to pay a subscription and you already pay for my stuff, and then I shame you for not paying me tips. It's retarded. Like, how the fuck did that become a thing? I'm not rich. Trump lowered my taxes. Can I have him in Romania, please? Like, can you bottle him to Romania? Trump says this doesn't look completely staged, but she is actually a real DoorDash delivery person. She started in 2022 and has delivered over 14,000. Well, no, I mean, the whole camera thing is staged, but I'm willing to bet that, yeah, like, he probably did get a person that does work for DoorDash and contacted her, well, not him, like his team, contacted her and said, look, because we did all of the tax decrease stuff, like, we would like someone to actually come up and have a word in front of the cameras. Like, are you willing to do that? Right? So, it is staged, but at the same time, there is some honesty to it. The only time I've tipped is the wedding chair rental. Gave him an extra $100. I understand that it's not all over America. Like there are some American places that still maintain their sanity, but New York is one of them that is insane, right? Like New York is absolutely insane when it comes to tipping. And it's like, why do people put up with this? And I still don't know. I generally don't know. Like I wouldn't put up with it. I would stop eating out. If every single place requires me to pay 25% extra tip, I would stop eating out. But V, what if we like getting shamed? Oh, it's not that you're just getting shamed. Like, they will harass you. They will literally harass you, and then they would just refuse to let you in to go there the next time. Right? So, like, they probably put you on a blacklist or some shit. Just think of a tip as a bribe for good service. I don't even know, man. I find it ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It just doesn't fit for our current year, right? Like in a year where only the rich go to dine out, and you have like this luxurious dinner where you have like the waiter coming to your table, and you know, like maybe he is giving you a little speech about the steak and how they prepared it and cooked it, and then the waiter comes to your table with a violin and sings to you. Okay, fine. Like in that situation, yes, okay. Right? And you want to show to other people how rich you are and how generous you are. All right. But if you're going to like just a normal diner and you sit down and there's a person taking your order and giving you the plate, why would you give them 25%? And it's not even like the fact that you have to give them. Like, why can't you give them 10% or 5% or leave it up to you? Like 25 is already insane. An average restaurant, they don't do that in Romania anymore. Like, we don't have people with violins coming to our tables and singing. Even the self-checkout machines are asking for tips. Yes, I tipped my mechanic an extra 150 because he fixed my entire car that was sitting for 18 years. Why would I give money to some bro that brought a few plates on my table? Yeah, exactly. You know, it's a job that a teenager can do it. Like, it's not nothing special. It's your little job to be a human robot, to just go there, take the order, deliver the plates. It's the culture, V. Everyone tips and expected to get a tip. The one that doesn't tip are seen as assholes. And it's not only in the US, it's all over the America. Yeah, well, again, like, look, I love America. It's that aspect of the culture that just triggers me. And I think it's caused the moment they decided to tax tips, right? Because if they tax tips, then yes, you're an asshole. Because that person is now paying extra taxes for something they don't make. 25% is nuts. Be happy for 15. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, you give them 15%, so you're not an asshole. But then they still insist that, no, you need to give 10% more. It's like, what? Nani? Romania doesn't have violinists at restaurants anymore. Maybe like in some rare restaurants, but no, we don't. Like, usually we have this ability where you can play music with a computer, right? So like restaurants have like this computer that they hook up to speakers that they place around the restaurants, and then some guy just moves the mouse and selects a music. And that creates the ambience, like that creates the theme, right? So no, we do not have people with an actual violin coming to your table in order to sing. Tipping is not to be considered part of the normal pay. It's an extra to the employer, in particular if we enjoy their service. Forced tipping is a service surcharge, not a tip. Yeah, but like, again, it doesn't really matter what you think, right? When you go to New York, if you refuse to tip, they harass you. Like, they don't let you live, they cause a scene, they surround your table, they're angry, they're insisting. Now, I assume that if you literally are extremely stubborn, and you're willing to, like, put up with 15 minutes with people shouting and yelling at you and, you know, insulting you, then eventually you can leave, but, like, you're never going to eat that again, right? And if you're with friends, if you're with other people, they will think you're mentally insane. And so that's pretty much the thing. Like, you're not going to win this, right? Like, you're not going to fight the windmills and bring your non-New York morality into New York. Like, the New York dominates you, not the other way around. Maybe if New York manages to get like 30 million Eastern European like myself, right? And we go there, I guarantee to you there would be no more tipping. But no, because the thing is, like, I would start a restaurant and I would literally just say no tips allowed. Like, you're not allowed to tip. No, you're not getting tips, period. And I would hire, like, people that generally want to work. I would hire young people. I would hire, individuals that are desperate to look for a job. And I would flat out tell them, you do not get tips here, period. And what that would actually do is that I would have more customers, right? If the food is good and people know you go to this place, you don't tip, you get more customers. And then you can pay those people more. You can literally pay your own staff 15% more just because you created a niche in the market. And be like the no-tip restaurant. You can actually start an entire supply chain. You can franchise off this. And that's how I would change America. That's the only way you can change it, from the inside. You don't go there and you spurg out that you're not getting tips. You open a restaurant that refuses to take tips. Like, you actually fire people if you catch them taking tips. You make it like company policy. No tips at all. I don't care how much they give you. You work here, you don't get tips. Anyway, tips are supposed to be performance. If someone tried to force me to tip 0%, fuck you, lol. All you need is a pianist, a violinist, and someone with a jazz drum set. Well, I mean, like, jazz would be actually... See, you can hire a couple of blacks. Now you have diversity. You hire a couple of blacks to do the jazz thing. To do the... Like, seriously, you get that. Now you have diversity. You get some young girls with big tits. More diversity. And you don't tip. Like, people will go there. The best way to change America is to offer a better option. Yeah. We just invented McDonald's? Well, no, because you would actually make proper food. Anyway, right, chat. Hold on. We got a little bit sidetracked. Let's go back to talking about the European Union. Because, as I mentioned, and you can see it in the title, the European Union has found out the final solution to the energy crisis, right? So, we got the Strait of Hormuz locked up. The European Union is struggling. And we have, like, Russia Today here on Twitter showing us Ursula von der Leyen's solution to the problem.
Is how can we reduce the demand? Because, of course, the least expensive energy is the energy that is not used.
Oh my God! Holy shit! Yeah. Oh no. Let's listen to that again. No, this is words of fucking with. See, like, this is why she deserves to be the president of the European Union. I would have never thought about this solution. Like, not in a million years. Like, if you were to actually pay me to brainstorm, right, with a couple of other smart people like myself, and find out like a solution to the energy problem, I would not be able to come with this. Like, no, absolutely, she deserves to be there. Listen.
Is how can we reduce the demand? Because, of course, the least expensive energy is the energy that is not used.
The least expensive energy is the energy that is not used. Holy shit. You know, the only people that would come up with something so smart were the communists. Like, literally, the Soviets, right? The Ceausescu in my country also came up with the exact same idea. If energy is too expensive, it becomes cheap if you don't use it. It's the least expensive energy. Oh my fucking Lord. Oh my God. What? Holy shit.
We should reduce demand while fully respecting the free choice of consumers. So we are looking at energy efficiency levels such as renovation of buildings or the renewal of equipment in industrial operations.
So what this means, I will translate from retard to normal speak, right? We're going to allow, we basically want people to stop using electricity, okay? But in order to do this, we will allow free choice. So whenever you renovate a building, like if you renovate a building, and let's say you have a gas-powered central heating, right? You're in an old building that's filled with elderly, and you want to renovate it. Well, you got to get rid of that. Like, they will not renovate that. You got to now get an electric power heater. Which, by the way, it sounds reasonable until you realize that old people that are on a pension cannot fucking afford to, like, completely change the entire infrastructure of the building in order to make it green. Right? Like, you see the problem? We're going to make it so that when people buy new agricultural tools, in other words, instead of just buying a normal tractor that's secondhand and you can repair it yourself, Now you need to buy like one of those fucking spaceships over tractors that's solar powered and stuff. And whenever it breaks, you gotta take it to like a specific place where they charge you like 60% more than they would charge you if a normal tractor would break. And so like literally just, let's make it even more expensive. Like people are struggling with electricity. Let's fucking make it even more difficult for them, but like coat it in flowery language so it sounds like we're actually doing something good. And she doesn't even fucking know. She has to read from a prompt. She didn't even come up with this bullshit herself. Like she just cannot look you in the eye and just tell you the nonsense, because she probably knows the nonsense, but she has to know how to frame it in a way so that she can actually sell the ass fucking to the people. It's not ass fucking. You're just going to feel like a little bit of pressure in your rectum, you know? Seriously.
These are some measures, but there are also other measures that...
Okay, so like now is the nightmare. Now is the what else did they come up with? What else? You know, like if these are the measures, like what else can possibly be there?
That we will present, or will be the core of the presentation of the communication next week on the table of the leaders.
I hate her, chat. You know what? I decided, chat, I finally made the decision. I'm not going to vote for her again. I'm not going to vote for her again. I'm not going to support her. I do not support her. I do not support her policy. I understand Europe is a democratic place. I will not vote for her again. She is not getting my vote. She's going to be replaced. They're going to have like someone else. They're going to have like someone that actually understands economy. A Milton Friedman type of guy. A libertarian. We're going to get a guy with a chainsaw. Like the Argentinian guy. Someone that goes, afuera! I get a better solution. What about producing more North Sea oil and buying from America? Well, I mean, the buying from America, I can sadly understand the spite. Okay? Because America has placed Europe in this situation. Look, I get it. The North Sea pipeline, that was absolutely peak German retardation, right? So like Germany as a policy denuclearized itself, right? Like Germany just said, you know what? Fuck nuclear. We're going to take gas from the Russians. And they built the gas from the Russians, and then they're in NATO, right? And so when the Russians take Crimea, Germany goes, well, it's just Crimea. Putin says, trust me, bro. Okay, it's fine. And then the Russians take Donbass, and Germany goes, it's just Donbass. Trust me, bro, it's fine. And now the Russians are trying to take Kiev, right? Like they wanted the whole Ukraine. And at some point, like Germany has to wake up, because like they did that in the past. They literally did that in the past. You know, like they take Austria, they take Poland, you know, they keep taking, and they know what happens. Like they're not imbeciles. They have history. They understand what happens when a nation is just allowed to conquer and conquer. And so they say no more. No more, enough. Like we gotta do something. But what can you do when you're taking gas from them, right? Like, obviously, if you're taking gas from the Russians can say, hey, do this or that, or we increase the gas prices. And so, like, I understand why the North Pipeline had to go, right? And the Americans definitely blessed it, because, like, Joe Biden was on TV saying they have tools. Okay, fine. But now with the Strait of Hormuz, that's something that I don't understand, right? So, like, where is Europe supposed to take gas from? From the America. Oh, how fucking convenient. How fucking convenient, you know? So like, now you have the Americans going, well, it would be a shame if something happened to your logistics. And so like, I can understand the resentment. But the solution would be nuclear power. You gotta go back to nuclear, right? Like, I get it, you know, like, you don't want to be beholden to the Americans. You don't want to be beholden to the Russians. You need to become energy independent as a continent as much as it's possible. Start burning the fucking coal. Drop all of the environmentalist bullshit. Bring on nuclear, use solar and wind when it's required, and just be normal. Just fucking be normal. Like you're a continent. Stop sucking coke from the Russians. Stop sucking coke from the Americans. Just be independent. No, it's not possible. Okay, fine. You know, it is what it is. I guess we'll just have to focus more on solar panels. Even though Europe doesn't produce batteries. We're going to get it from China. Sure. Why not? Okay. Also, the heat from an open fire stays with you because it's being out of it. Oh no, they have like laws against deforestation and shit. But like literally, they thought about everything. Every single way you can have like some cheap source of energy. Like, no, it's illegal. It's beyond red tape. Literally, why can't it just be normal? Yes. They also claim cardboard. Dude, they claim that cow farts are a problem. Like, you know, like cows are already tortured enough. Listen, I can't imagine what it's like for cows to live in a place where they can't move all of their life. They are going to be butchered, right? And I'm fine with that because I like eating meat. Okay, so like I understand like the cow hell, which by the way, like it is hell. Like the very definition of hell applies to like the industrial farming we do to other animals. But they already suffer enough, right? Now you have the European Union thinking, oh, we can use some masks on cows so that it filters the air from their burps so that they don't burp cardboard. And I'm thinking like, okay, I understand the grift, right? No, I really do. Because like at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're creating a product that nobody would buy, right? So like someone makes the factory to make these masks, and you have committees and taxpayer money being given to people that don't deserve to have a job because the market wouldn't require it, right? So you're creating an artificial demand. But like, for fuck's sakes, like, have some compassion to the fucking bovine. Like, it's already suffering enough. Like, move your grift to homosexuals or something. You know, like, just leave the cows alone. Like, they're already going through a lot. You know, like, you have a cow that's like giving birth to a little cow. The little cow is immediately killed so that more meat. Okay, fine. At least it doesn't suffer its entire life. And then you're milking the cow all the way up until her tits go dry, and then you impregnate it again and repeat. And now you want to put a mask on her so that it can't fucking burp with carbon in there. Like, come on. You're making me side with the vegans on this. And I usually don't side with the vegans, but like, even I have my fucking limits. Hello, yes. I agree with the industrial farming. My uncle was a small dairy farmer, very different setup. No, I get it. Like, look, it's required. You have cities with tens of millions of people. You cannot feed them with your uncle's farm. Like, your uncle's farm just does not produce enough in order to feed an entire city. So I get that. It's fine. Look, it's fine. But, like, can we not make it even worse for the cows? I'm just saying, like, if it's possible to still have food and just not torture the animal, isn't that more ethical? And by the way, like, I am usually the last to talk about compassion for animals. But, like, even I have my fucking limits, you know? Kitsune is here. Siding with the vegans is too much. No, it's not, dude. Like, I understand, like, pragmatism, right? Like, sometimes you gotta do something bad because it's justifiable. Like, you gotta have cows being put in slaughterhouses because you need to feed an entire city. I'm not retarded, I get it. But, like, everything that's extra, everything that happens to hurt the cow more than it should. I mean, this is exactly how we have the concept of war crimes, right? Like, in a war, the idea of killing the enemy is acceptable. Like, you gotta kill the enemy to win. But if you kill the enemy in a way that causes a lot of pain that goes, like, beyond what's reasonable for a kill shot, then we outlaw that. Like, for example, phosphorus rounds, right? Like, the reason phosphorus rounds is outlawed is because the amount of excruciating pain that it does to a soldier is considered inhumane. Like, you can kill a soldier without using phosphorus rounds. So I'm not the only one that thinks like that, you know? Then you don't feed them less people. Well, I mean, you're going to get less people when you have the demographic decline anyway, so. He says, we'll be streaming the newly updated Space Hulk Ascension today on her channel. Uses advertising on my channel without even a super chat. Horrible. Well, there you go. I did read the advertisement, so people know that if they want to watch the newly updated Space Hulk Ascension, they can go to his channel in order to watch that. And they can also go to Kitsune Mizuki, who is also a streamer. War crimes aren't real. Only the loser is ever found to commit war crimes. War crimes are very real, but war crimes don't happen, by the way, because of law. Like it's not like soldiers, you know, they look at the Geneva Convention and they go, we're not going to commit these war crimes. War crimes usually don't happen. I mean, okay, well, I'll put an asterisk to that and I'll explain a little bit. They don't happen because most soldiers, you got to put yourself into their mindset. You got to put yourself into their shoes, right? You're being there and you're taken in the trenches, okay? And you're aware that chances are you don't want to be there. You may not even agree with the war, but like that's your life now. And you know that the guys in the other trenches are just guys like you, but they want to kill you, so you got to kill them. Now, here's the interesting part. If you actually commit war crimes, like if you go there and, you know, you're, let's say in World War I, you would have like a serrated knife in order to disembowel people, to make death as painful as possible. Do you know what happened when you get captured? Right? Like every single soldier is aware that if we do war crimes to them, if we get captured, they will do war crimes to us. And so like that's pretty much like the understanding. Like people at a basic level, they understand that if they treat the enemy with savagery, the enemy will treat them with savagery. Now, the asterisk. War crimes do happen. Like, we know they do, right? And so, when they happen, the other side escalates. And then the other side escalates further. The other side escalates even more. And at some point, you know, they say enough. And they write treaties, they do all these things, and then they stop for a while. So it's not something that goes away. It's something that like escalates to a point where both sides are horrified and they sign a treaty, and then you have like another time period where war crimes are actually down and people actually police. For example, if you want to know a concrete historical thing that happened. In World War II, it wasn't a war crime, but it was considered how should I say, well, criminal, I guess is the word. It was considered criminal to shoot at a paratrooper, right? So not like an invasion of paratroopers, but like a pilot ejecting from his plane, and he was parachuting. It was considered illegal to shoot at him, right? Even though there was no law, even though like nobody would prevent you. The reason for it is that it was very easy to shoot the parachute, and the person would have landed on your ground and be arrested anyway, right? And so there were like German officers that told their men, if I catch any of you shooting one of those guys, I will shoot you myself. And this was actually respected by both sides. Like the British wouldn't shoot German pilots that would parachute. The Germans wouldn't shoot British pilots. And it was to the point where even when they were fighting over London and British pilots would parachute themselves and they would land on the soil of London, Germans wouldn't shoot them either, right? Now, when they actually went to the Soviets and when the war moved to the Eastern Front, the Soviets were the ones that started shooting at German pilots. And the Germans reciprocated and started shooting at the Soviet pilots, right? So, like, this actually shows what happens if you do not follow the convention. Like, even if it was an unwritten convention, it was a rule. You're following it because you're protecting your guys, right? You're treating the enemy with respect because you expect that if you're captured, you are treated with respect. And you treat the enemy with savagery because you hear what happened to your friend, and then you want to take it out on the enemy. Japanese didn't respect that rule. Yes, and because of that, Japanese were also treated with a nuclear bomb. It would have been a lot more difficult to nuke Europe at the time, right? Like now when we look back and there's like a lot of pop culture reference about World War II and the dehumanization of the Nazis is obsolete. During the actual war, like if you actually read, papers from officers during the actual war, people actually respected each other. Like the Germans respected the British had respect for the German. Not respect in the sense that they agree with their ideas, but like respect for them as soldiers on the ground. And so nuking Germany would have been a little bit more problematic than nuking Japan. Because like people knew the crimes that Japan did. And when you went home and you found out that they're shooting the guys with the Red Cross and they're targeting them first, or they're using various tricks like surrendering, pretending to surrender, and then they have a grenade in their hand and shit like that. That doesn't go well with the boys. The boys don't like that. Yes, gives $5. I already plan on sending you money anyway. Be glad to stream with you anytime, V. You're still one of my favorites. Well, thank you, Iz, and I'm glad you're back. These Red Cross guys are the Templars? Well, no, they kind of figured out that the squad really cares about the red guys, and that if you shoot them, you demoralize the entire squad. And so in Europe, people would do their best in order to put the Red Cross on them. Like there were people that didn't just have like a Red Cross on their helmet. They would surround themselves with Red Crosses from all sides so people can see them, right? So like they would literally paint a Red Cross on their combat vest. They would paint a Red Cross on their arm. They would have it on their helmet, right? So that from any point that you're looking at the guy, you would see that he has a Red Cross. And again, the Germans didn't shoot the guys with the Red Cross because the other guys wouldn't shoot the Germans with the Red Cross either. So it's like a mutual understanding, right? You don't do it so that you protect your guys. When they went to Japan, the Japanese specifically targeted the guys with the Red Cross. Like they had orders to shoot at the combat medic because they realized that the combat medic heals a soldier that's crying out in pain, causes a loss of morale for everyone else. And now, like, everyone is busy trying to rescue that soldier or drag him out of combat, and it's going to cause logistical issues for the enemy, right? And so, if in Europe everyone wanted to have the Red Cross displayed, in Japan everyone was hiding the Red Cross. Like the first thing that a combat medic did when in Japan was to take off his helmet and put it with another one that just looks normal. Yeah, they were prioritizing the healers, exactly. Using a Red Cross without being a member of the organization was a massive war crime. Yeah, that's true. Like in the European film, to be fair, like there is a reason why the Japanese did it, and that is because they didn't sign any convention. So like Japan before World War II wasn't considered a respectable nation, right? Like people were genuinely surprised by how fast they technologically advanced. And so like they weren't invited to many treaties. They didn't sign, many treaties that the Europeans signed. Because again, like the reason they sign treaties is because things escalate to the point where the barbarism is so out of proportion that they require to come to the table and say, okay, let's stop terrorizing each other and just have normal combat operations. Anyway, right, chat. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the super chats. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.